you can go in and check how fast your current website is. And if you're currently on Elementor, it's not going to be fast. Andrew with Bold Stripes Digital. We haven't had an update like this in a long time. I think the last one I did, I was driving and updating at the same time, trying to record a video while driving, and that's because I was just bored and in traffic, and there was not a lot going on. But yeah, some things we'll go through today. So we've been busy. I think we've had a string of football-related projects, which has been cool. Right, so there's a project out there for... Hey, Goo, help us out, please. Thanks, boy.
Hey, Paul!
No, not yelling. Closing the door. Thank you. We are not cutting or any of that jazz. Not starting over. Nothing. It'll be post-production. So before the dogs jumped in and got excited about football-related projects, yeah, we have a number of football-related projects that have been fun for us to work on. Right, one of those, Tim Stuber, Agogi O-line training. Another one for Ahman Green for an esports gaming website, tournament services. And then we have recruit.football, a recruiting platform for student athletes to be able to maximize their exposure to get college scholarships. So we've had a lot of fun with that. That's what we've been working on. Just met recently with some roofing customers as well, and some people in the financial space. Lots of conversations out there right now. We'll come back to what's kind of top of mind for business owners right now. And of course, it seems to be AI, but we'll cover this off in a little more detail. Before we get to that, I wanted to also introduce Andrew. He's the man behind the scenes. I mean, I'm out there. I think my video is on the front page, and I'm in the contacts. We don't have Andrew do that because he does his very best work behind this MacBook over here. By the way, unfortunately, he's Team Mac, and unfortunately, I'm Team Windows. But that's how we roll. And the other cool thing about Andrew, and his initials are AK. And since I kind of like shooting guns, I just refer to him as AK. It's a fitting nickname. Just graduated. And, the interesting thing I wanted to ask you about AK was we both had the same degree, computer science, both computer science guys right here. It's the only difference, and it's a huge difference. I graduated like 10 decades ago. He graduated like 2 weeks ago. So AK, tell us what has been the best, most relevant class. So you step into this role here, right? We're designing websites, doing development, doing coding, back end, right? All the, like for recruit.football, all the back end database stuff that you've been handling, all the code, the logic. What has been the most relevant class? So if you were talking to some young people out there that want to pursue computer science like we did, what's going on nowadays? What is the best class? What's hot?
Sure. I think my answer to that question, I can't give one class. It's a combination of two. The first class is absolutely Web API. Now, kind of have to think of this as being the practical aspect of the work that you're going to be doing every day as a software engineer. Well, what this class taught me is how to build websites. Sure, at a surface level, you can build out your front end, build out your back end. But what was really important is to see how user experience, how planning, how a website is going to be built is so important from the start. Because this was really a project-based course. And so the entire semester, we were working on a project from start to finish, fulfilling a need for a client, working on the front end and the back end. And what we had to do is say, okay, what does our client need? What does each customer on this website need from this website? How are they going to go through this experience as a user to purchase a product, view different products, see what they want from this website, and how do you make it effective for that client? And of course, that business aspect of things was very important, but also the development going from front end, how the user interacts with the website, and how that data flows from the website to the back end, and how we process, manage, and store that data for use and retrieval later. And the other class, super important, was software engineering. Now, it sounds kind of super broad, but really what this class taught me is how you start projects. Like I said, it worked really well with Web API. Web API was the more practical, hands-on building a website portion. Software engineering was saying, how do we go from the idea to building out a requirements doc to working with stakeholders, getting feedback, and engaging with the software development lifecycle, right? It's a very iterative process. You have to go back time and time again to refine your product until it's exactly what the customer asked for. And the thing that I kind of took away that was the most important from that class is the most important thing that you can do is under promise and over deliver. The second most important thing that you can do is stay in constant communication with your clients, because oftentimes you will have a different idea or a different understanding of what the client wants compared to what they're looking for in your product. And you have to go back and forth. And sometimes it can be a tedious process, but ultimately it's what you need to do to ensure that the product that you're delivering is going to be exactly what the client is asking for. And you want a happy client at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, that under promise thing, we learned that. I learned that early on, actually, before you came on board, just with other business endeavors as well. So while you're on the hot seat, let me ask you, just with the coming in and fulfilling this role and doing some cool things, what is your favorite tool? What is the worst tool right now that we've had at our disposal, that we've had the luxury and experience of using within web design?
Sure thing. I'd actually say one of the best tools, I'll start with the good here, has definitely been Make. Make.com makes automation super easy for all your business needs. It's been a great tool. They provided a lot for us. It's been very easy to work with an interface. This is not sponsored, but it's a great product, obviously. But when we're going on to the bad here, this one is particularly working with front ends, web design, and it's Elementor. Super popular, working with WordPress sites for sure. But it's very heavy, feels a little bloated, and it's kind of difficult to work with, especially when you are coming from one of the more modern, web stacks. You're working with some different type of React technology on the front end. You're working with, Postgres on the back end, whatever. But when you're on that front end, coming from that background, Elementor is just really difficult to work with and understand how it's working, especially if you don't want to spend a bunch of money upgrading the roads here.
Yeah, I think we collectively spent days, and I do mean literally days and days and days, fighting and wrestling with Elementor, and not just for the layout, but also trying to get it to go quick, to go fast, and more and more, speed matters. If you're a small business owner, you don't have a huge budget, I tell you what, just drop Elementor. You can just here's one of my favorite tools is Claude Code. Either way, drop your existing website, the code in there, have it respect the existing brand guidelines, the color codes, your styling, your font styles, and have Claude rework your Elementor website. And you will be so happy with the performance. And what I mean by performance is the speed. It's really the experience. How well does a website load on mobile devices? How well does it load on desktop devices? Is it responsive? And speed matters, especially if it's a digital. So if your website is functioning as a digital postcard, maybe not as much, because does really the speed matter as much? No, not necessarily. But if your business is depending upon paid ads, you're doing social, you're pushing people to your landing page, or you have search engine optimization initiatives going on, all those things just work so much better when your website is fast and responsive and it has a good layout. So page.speed.web, I believe, is the URL. I'll link it below. You can go in and check how fast your current website is. And if you're currently on Elementor, it's not going to be fast. You're going to be in the 60s and 70s, and that's being generous on mobile, which is that's the metric that we use the most, because the majority of website traffic is on mobile nowadays. There could be some fluctuations there based upon use case, but you need to have a fast website. It's gonna work with your ads and SEO so much better, and just overall better experience. And plus, you don't have to wrestle with Elementor layouts anymore. So do yourselves a favor, contact us if there's any way that we can help out with that. But as far as, I think that's a good summary of the best tool. The best tool we're working with right now, I got to say, Make and Claude. Worst tools right now, I think the one for me, AK. Another one, I just got to do this. I got to help you out, small business owner. That's my whole role. That's my whole job. Squarespace. Graduate from it, stay away from it. But it's called Squarespace. You just think of a number of squares. What do you have? It's a grid. You're confined to this grid layout, and you can drag and drop widgets. But again, I would tell you the same thing that I would tell the Elementor folks is go graduate from that tool. And if you have e-commerce needs, I get it. Squarespace is good on the e-commerce side, but there are some free solutions out there that are going to work just as well. And they're lightweight, they're very fast, they're very modern. One that I really like is SureCart. We recently did an e-commerce website on SureCart. It was the fastest e-commerce website that we've ever built. And again, why does speed matter? It matters for ads. It matters for conversions. It matters for search engine optimization. For example, Google's not going to refer your site to somebody, even if the content on your website is high quality. If it's going to load slow, right? Think about this. Google, Bing, etc. They're in the business of providing a great experience for their users. So they want to have the most relevant website and the website that's going to load quickly and give the user a good experience. All that is all that's quantified, and summarized with the quality of the experience that user is going to have. So Google makes these calculations. And if your website is slow because you're on Squarespace or you're running Elementor, you got to get graduated from that so that you can get more and more referrals from Google, Bing, and the other search engines. And nowadays, right, the AI, right? Your LLMs are being a big part of this right now as well. So, what else we have? I guess we have, let's close it out. I think last question is what are people talking about, right? What are the real world conversations out there? What are you hearing, Andrew? Like real business owners, what are they asking us about?
Sure. I mean, ultimately, what they're looking to do, they're looking to make websites that convert, right? Because a website really is something that's going to bring you in business. That's the goal. Whether that just be a digital postcard or you're selling something online, you're selling a product online or selling a service online, the ultimate goal is to convert. And we want to make that process as easy as possible. In the age of AI, I think it's become a lot easier to get some different suggestions and learn how to optimize your website if you already have one, on how to get those conversions, how to get people in your website interested in you, your brand, your product, and your business. And I think that has become a much easier process. However, the one thing that has been a lot more difficult, particularly in the age of AI, is how to keep your website secure. You know, we know multiple business owners who have had cybersecurity attacks on their websites, and they've had some issues with their business because of it. And it's very difficult because the threatscape it's constantly evolving in the age of AI, especially with new models finding new CVEs, day zeros, 0 days, excuse me. But it's important to maintain security. And, you know, that's one of the services that we offer. Bold Stripes Digital is constant monitoring, logging, ensuring that your website stays up. And if a security incident does occur, we can remedy that for you.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Because we've had a couple of real world hacks that happened recently. And what's going on in the space? Like, what's a favorite tool that I just called out, that I just mentioned? Claude, right? There's some other good ones too. Claude's not the only one. The point is, people that want to do bad things to your website, either for fun or for free advertising or for promoting their products using your domain reputation, they're using AI to come up with attacks. And right, they're gonna modify the prompt a little bit. They're going to say it's for research purposes, and they're a student and they're doing a security study, and they want to know how hackers are getting into websites and how they're doing stuff to benefit them, stealing data or promoting their own products. And they're getting answers, unfortunately. So that's the landscape that we're dealing with right now. We used to refer to them in cybersecurity space. They used to be called script kiddies. In other words, people who would acquire scripts from shady places online or from their buddies, and they would run them without the true understanding of what they're doing. Well, those script kiddies that are not very sophisticated, not very technical, now they're running attacks that are sophisticated and are technical because of AI. So we have to level the playing field. If you happen to be associated or happen to be concerned about AI security or being secure from AI and AI-based attacks, we do have solutions in place that we can reference. But I think for today's topic, did I forget anything, AK?
I think we're all set here.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Yeah, let's get back to work. We're going to get back behind the screens and building beautiful websites that perform and having fun doing that whole thing. And so until next time, the Bold Stripes team out. See you later.